This is Majula. It is a kind of settlement, a place where life is almost normal.
This place is fascinating. We receive only the most peculiar visitors. Folk like yourself. It's enough to keep even a cat amused.
Another useless traveler. A man ought to labor with his feet planted firmly in the earth, not roam around like you flirtatious vagabonds.
I would not venture deep into the mansion. Something about it feels wrong. Just be careful, please.
Those who come to Drang Lake seeking salvation soon lose hope and turn hollow. It happens to them all, sooner or later.
The Souls series has had many iconic central hubs over the years. These are the zones where the player can rest, level up, chat with fellow warriors, and just simply vibe out. However, the ugly duckling of the series, Dark Souls 2, sports a hub area that is arguably the most unique, detailed, atmospheric, and calming. Majula, in my view, is the most interesting and atmospheric hub area of the series so far. From its somber locals, the memorable OST, to the tranquil waters lapping below the cliffs, Majula is the hub area I find to be the most rich in design aesthetic and content. After exiting the things betwixt, players are greeted to a simple settlement upon the shoreline of Drang Lake overlooking the seemingly infinite ocean. There are a few humble buildings including Leningrast's workshop, the mansion, and Moglin's armory. Near the cliff edge, there is an obelisk that serves as a great vantage point to take in the breathtaking view of the ocean beyond. In the center of the settlement is the Majula bonfire, where players will spend time conversing with the Emerald Herald for leveling up or upgrading their flask with the occasional lore dump here and there. From a mechanical perspective, Majula complements the sprawling level design of Dark Souls 2 as opposed to its brethren's more Metroidvania maze-like design. Majula can be best imagined as the center of a wheel with spokes branching out from it. These spokes are essentially the paths to the Four Lords as well as Drang Lake Castle. While bonfire warping is granted to players at the start of the game, I find that Majula still feels connected to the rest of the kingdom since each traversal to the Four Lords needs to start at the Majula bonfire. It is not until the player acquires the King's Ring where the hub feels less connected due to the ring opening up branching paths in already discovered locations. Hubs like DS3's Firelink Shrine and Elden Ring's Roundtable Hold feel a bit more disjointed from the rest of the game by comparison. In short, having the ability to warp doesn't change or make Majula feel disconnected from the rest of the game, at least in the first half because all paths to the game progression stem from here. At the time of its release, Dark Souls 2 would change how players' leveled up experience once again. Instead of being able to level up at bonfires like in DS1, players would need to speak to the Emerald Herald similar to the Maiden in Black from Demon's Souls. I find that this further establishes a more connected feeling to the hub zone of Majula when compared to other zones. There is a frequent need to come back here not only to start the next branching pathway, but to also level up. This saw me returning here much more than Firelink Shrine in DS1 and 3 and Roundtable Hold in Elden Ring. I felt that I had more of a connection to this zone and by association its people because I always had a reason to come back. When looking at the Inhabitants, there is a colorful cast of characters that's become a series signature at this point. What's unique about the Inhabitants of Majula is the player gets to invite them back here when running into them along their travels throughout Drang Lake. The player gets to build the town and see it grow as they progress through the game. While other games have a similar mechanic, the Inhabitants actually stay here once rescued. This, in my view, establishes a sense of community within Majula rather than the other NPCs coming and going as they please. The town grows alongside the player's progression. This process would be later replicated upon in DS3 and Elden Ring to some extent, showcasing its value and influence on later entries in the series. The Mansion of Majula houses some interesting mechanics as well. Inside of the basement, players can find a map of Drang Lake. When the player completes key events of the game's progression, flames will light upon the map. The task is completed with Kale, a curious cartographer who is looking to catalog Drang Lake in its entirety. The Lord Vessel from DS1 can also be found here shattered into pieces. I have always interpreted this bit of environmental design as a nod to Dark Souls 2's themes of amnesia and the cycles of kingdoms being built with little acknowledgement of the past. In Drang Lake, everything about Lordran has been forgotten and therefore seen as useless. Something that was once extremely important and held great significance is now trash with the broken Lord vessel. The slate has been wiped clean so something can begin anew. Isn't it wonderful? The gutter pit is another interesting mechanic that employs laddersmith Gilligan, who will build the player ladders to reach the bottom of the pit to access the gutter. This has to be one of the more creative access points in the series in my view. Access to the gutter requires help of Gilligan building what might be the longest ladder in the series if I'm not mistaken. Feel free to let me know in the comments if there is another ladder that is longer than this one. Another fun weird mechanic in Majula are the pigs that will level up in size after the player kills them 12 times to undead boars and will level up to a giant undead boar after an additional 12 kills. I remember being surprised at just how much damage these little guys could do on my first playthrough. The monument at the time of its original release before Scholar of the First Sin would contain writings that were hints towards the DLC releases of the game. The chest in the mansion also contained unique weapon variants that I wish were in the game's Scholar version. As a lover of straight swords, the Blue Moon Longsword is absolutely gorgeous. Another fun detail is that Moglin will become more arrogant and smug as you spend more souls in his shop, getting high on his new fortune and success. He'll even take pity on you and give you the Invisible Oros set if you approach him with 0 souls on your person. Lennygrass and Cloanne is a cute small side quest story where father and daughter can be reunited. It's unfortunate there is no dialogue of them speaking to one another when Cloanne arrives, but that might just be to simply play on the amnesia that affects most travelers in Drang Lake. The Emerald Herald has some cute idle animations where she'll just be simply hanging out with her feet up, slouched over the bonfire, or solemnly looking out at the ocean. Oh yeah, and there's an immortal cat, because why not? Her dialogue suggests that she may be as old as the Age of Fire, if not even older. She'll often reference the original 4 lords with their dialogue as well. While this doesn't cover every unique encounter or mechanic in Majula, it goes to show that there is so much more this area offers on repeat playthroughs beyond just approaching NPC quests in a different manner. Something that I was not aware of at the time of this video is that the Majula mansion will light blue if the player uses a bonfire ascetic 8 times on any of the bonfires right before any of the 4 lords, Cardinal Tower, Undead Ditch, Dragon Shrine entrance, and the King's Gate. If you have managed to get the Majula map completely blue on a playthrough, you are absolutely insane. Good job. Majula is the most visually captivating hub in my view with its calm and humble settlement design. The ocean water looks great even when compared to more modern game graphical fidelity. I appreciate being able to see other locations in the distance like the Forest of Fallen Giants, Hyde's Tower, and Drang Lake Castle. The area simply oozes this game's dreamlike aesthetic and atmosphere. Majula looks like a place that could exist in real life, but has that otherworldly nature to it where it seems untouched unlike the rest of the kingdom. It's the one place where the player can truly feel safe. Majula isn't grand or ornate, but cozy, simple, and homelike when compared to other hubs. It feels lived in, not just from the NPCs gathering here, but from the way the buildings are designed and how they can be interacted with. It's a nice break from the grand cathedrals, shrines, and important feeling places of other hubs in favor of something much more modest. The OST of Majula simply is one of the best tracks from the game, and perhaps the entire series. It's comforting, but also slightly haunting at the same time with its composition. I find that it only elevates the dreamlike nature of the zone and the game at large. Majula stands out because despite the controversy around Dark Souls 2 to this day, many still will express how great Majula is as a hub area. I have seen many posts and arguments where people absolutely hate this game, but love Majula, only highlighting just how memorable this quaint little settlement is. It fits the overall dreamlike thematic approach to DS2 as compared to the other entries' more oppressive nature. It is a place where I like to take a bit more time to enjoy the sights and let the OST hum in the background. Rest now, you are truly safe here. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share your favorite hub area of the Souls series in the comments below. What about that hub makes it memorable for you personally? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like my takes on Souls games and other game franchises from time to time, consider subscribing if you are new here and liking this video if you got something out of it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have or will find a place that is almost normal. These days, there are very few places like that. Take care.